O infinite Lord of stillness, fill us with thy presence. O infinite Lord of silence, of stillness, of grace, fill us with thy presence. O great Spirit, bless us with thy presence. Fill us. Ancestors of our bloodlines, ancestors of our spiritual lines, ancestors of all of our adopted lines. Namaste. Fill us with thy wisdom, thy insight, thy compassion. O ye powers that be, bless us again and again and again. Most beloved and precious Ishtatevata, Lord of life, in all of thy names and all of thy forms, bless us. Bless us with thy presence. O infinite Lord of stillness, as we turn inward and watch our breath, watch the breath of Vasudeva. Fill us with thy presence. Use a sipping breath and pull the energy from the limbs to the trunk. From the trunk to the spinal column. From the base of the spine to the sun center. Move that energy as golden light out in front of you, sweeping to the left. Encase your entire being in golden light. Do this 3 times. And now expand that golden light and ascend. Ascend as high as you are able. Ascending to the high place. Ascending there. In front of you, see a path into a forest. As you walk through the forest, the trees become older and older. You're going back in time. You see they become older. The way clears. And you are in the grove of the ancient ones. Quietly enter. You are in the grove of the ancients. Sit down. They invite you to stay a while. Focus your attention at your sun center. In their presence, breathe in the silence. Allow the silence to fill every cell of your being. Allow the stillness to radiate forth. Be nourished. Hold on to the silence. Hold on to the feeling, the sweet feeling state. As we share this time of meditation together. Namaste. Hold on to the sweetness. Once upon a yogi time, in the ever-present now, there lived a young man in India. He became a lawyer as he grew. And he became concerned with the politics of his country. Very famous he became. He called upon the people again and again and again to protest peacefully as they were trying to regain the freedom of their country. He said, no violence, non-violence, no violence, please. Everything should be peaceful. And everyone admired him for this. And they tried to follow him. And yet, perhaps he had a flaw. He was human, so perhaps he had a flaw. He used his body. He used his body. And he began to say to the others, those who opposed him, well, if you don't do what I'm asking, I'm going to fast. And I'm willing to fast until I die. Everybody thought that was he was willing to fast for this idea until he died. Is that a good thing? It got him what he wanted. At every turn, right and left, whenever he said he would fast until he died for something to move his cause forward, they stopped and they gave in. They gave in because no one wanted to be the one who resisted him so much that his body died. Was he a holy man? Some say so. I don't know. It matters not. He was a very wise politician. I'll say that. He knew the power that would come. But was he a non-violent man? I am wondering. Because he was willing to sacrifice this to get other people to do what he wanted. Now we look at his life. At the very end, very, very end, he was a very, very devoted man. And at the very end of his life, though, someone assassinated him, came with a gun to kill him. And as he was shot, they say he said, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Rama. Now, what is the story here? Some people saw him as the peacemaker. Mohandas Gandhi was his name. Some called him Mahat Gandhi, but his birth name was Mohandas. And he was known as the peacemaker. He was known as a person who spoke of nonviolence, who led nonviolence. But was he? Now, this is not a story of analyzing Mohandas Gandhi. It is not a story of saying, was he right, was he wrong? He was human. We live in a world of dualities. Peacefulness, nonviolence, violence, nonviolence, violence. How can you be nonviolent in the world if you're violent with your being, if you're violent with your body? If you're willing to use this to manipulate others? I don't know the answer. I'm asking you the questions. I don't know the answer. But I know that within each of us, there is violence, nonviolence, nonviolence, violence, happiness, sadness, fame, disrepute, emotionality, and feelings. We live in a world of duality, and we run this way and that way and this way and that way without being in the center. What moves us? What pushes us? What causes us to move? It's emotions. It's the fluctuation of the energy outside of the somatic channel, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, not collapsing ever in the center. To the right, action, action, action. To the left, emotions, emotions, emotions. The center, the point of balance, the feeling state. Now there is this idea that whatever rises in the mind, whatever thoughts rise in the mind, one must act upon. There's a thought, oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. I have to do that. I have to do that. I have to do that. The answer is no. You do not have to do anything other than to be still, to be quiet, to be silent, to not be influenced by the fluctuations of the mind as it goes this way and that way. In the English language, too often we interchange the words feeling and emotion. I feel this. Very rarely do we say I emote. And when we do, there's a tone of criticism about it. But there's a massive difference between feeling, which has no history. Feeling contains noetic value. Feeling has knowledge, wisdom, truth, noetic value in a feeling state. It is balanced. Now emotions, they can fly to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, back and forth, mix up like a soup, a stew, if you will. And they go on and on and on. Every emotion has a friend attached to it. We say all thoughts have groupets. All thoughts come in groupets. They have friends. But particularly emotions. You see a color. You say, oh, no. You don't know why. You see a color and your skin kind of gets a little itchy, or your ears get itchy, or your head gets itchy, or you feel uncomfortable. You don't know why. Even better, you smell a scent. You smell a scent and everything starts to itch. And you don't know why. Person comes into the room and they have that scent on. And your mind, which was so peaceful, becomes very agitated. Or vice versa. You walk into a room and you smell a scent. For some people, it's the smell of cinnamon or apples. You walk into the room, you smell that scent, and you become very peaceful and very happy, and you lift. And you don't know why all of a sudden you're so happy. Or you walk into a place and it's like, oh. there's a lifting that occurs for you individually and sometimes as in groups. Why does this matter in your life? To find happiness, to find contentment, to find joy, we must find and understand the nature of this. And understand that the thoughts that rise, they will fall. They rise and they fall, they rise and they fall. One does not need to grab on to it. But we do. We do. We all are like that little, the soul in the woods that the yogi came upon. You know the story? The yogi walking in the woods, hearing ow, 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 ow. And he comes to a clearing. Only this time, when he comes to the clearing, he sees a large group of people. Large. Many, many, many people. More than he can see. More than he can count. And they're all holding on to something, saying, ow, ow, oh, ow, 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 oh. Not a space to be left. And he sees it's a forest of thorn bushes. And every thorn bush has at least one human clinging to it. The big thorn bushes have more than one human clinging to it. And he goes in and he does his best with his little singing bowl that he carried with him. That doesn't work, so he says, Om, Om, Om. They all stop whining for a minute. They all stop screeching for a minute. He says, over here, over here. You can be happy if you'd like. Oh, yes. You can be free if you'd like. Oh, yes. Just step back from those thorn bushes. He looks around and nobody steps back. And he sees a young person and a very, very, very old person. And both of them lift a hand up. And the little yogi says, keep on going. Keep on going. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. And together, opposite ends, they lift, they lift, they lift, they lift, they lift, they lift, they lift. And this time, instead of grabbing back on the bush, they walk straight to the light that little yogi radiates. And they say, show us a path. Show us the path out of here, please. Only two. The yogi thought he was lucky if he got one. Millions and billions in front of him with their thorn bushes grabbing. And the ancient one says, the old one says, I need to be free. Too long. I need to be free. I don't know how to be free. Show me how to be free. And the young one reaches over and takes the old one's hand and says, I'd like to come. Please. Teach me also. I don't want to live like that again. I don't want to live like that again. No, no, no. And the little yogi says, you have to give up. You have to give away. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to give up the emotions that you've been clinging to? I see you walked away from the bush. Do you have any thorns stuck on your shoes? And of course they did. He says, pull them out. Pull the nettles off your clothes. Take them out of your hair. And get them out, get them out. Wash the hair clean. And with that, he asked them to walk away to a little space on the side where no others were. Together they sat in silence. And the elder said, "Show us how to begin. Show us what we do." And a little yogi who in front of their eyes turned into, oh, I don't know, was it Lord Buddha? Was it Lord Krishna? Was it Kuan Yin? Was it Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva? Was it Jesus? Was it Mary? Was it Buddha? Again, which one of the Buddhas was it? Was it Brahma? Was it Vishnu? Was it Shiva? Was it Lord Hanuman? Was it Lord Ganesh? Was it Allah? The divine looked at them and spoke to them and said, "You must give up the pain of the past. You must give up the pain of the past. You must be willing to let go of the pain for the emotions of your mind to settle, to just become quiet, to become peace-filled. For it is your memory of the past that causes those emotions to arise. Not even your memory, but your memory of the memory of the memory of the memory of the past." Were it not so, but it is so. And he, she, it, the divine one, the divine Lord, proceeded to tell them, there's a problem, for you are not seeing clearly. We're not seeing clearly. You go to the past, and you think not a true memory of the past, but you think only of the filter that you put on the past. Oh, yeah. This filter, or this filter, or this filter. This filter. You are filtering the past. And then you are filtering the past again and again and again and again and again and again and again until 20 years, 50 years, 100 years later, you have no memory that is true. But all is just a memory of a memory that you are living by. Let go of that and try to see clearly. Be willing to see clearly. Now, that means that sometimes we have to step above the lila of our lives, the play of our lives. We must step above it, above and behind, so that we can see more clearly how we have been walking, how we have been living. And as the thoughts rise in the mind, to be able to see them and accept them and not judge them, but be willing to say, "Oh, hi, here you are again. Here you are again." What does it mean to gain the skill to feel, to reach a feeling state of consciousness and let go of the emotions? Emotions drive you, they cause you to act in one way or the other. You know, you decide that you're tired. Oftentimes this is the case. You're tired, you're worn out, you feel downtrodden at the moment, overwhelmed perhaps, sad sometimes. The body might be just tired, the body might be dealing with an illness, might not be well. And it swerves, it swerves. It acts based upon emotions. You know, you're working on something and the people that you're working with aren't going at the speed you want them to. Somebody was telling me this the other day, that they were having a problem with speed, that they were working and everybody around them was so doggone slow. And I said, well, what do you do? And she said, I do the work myself. I can't stand to wait for them. You know, what is it doing? She's tired. It's giving her more work than she should be doing. And she's depriving them. She's depriving them of the opportunity to work. She's depriving them of the opportunity to learn, to try. Because her mind wants everything to be done in just this way, in just the right time. And she thinks her mind is telling her, I can do it better. I know I can do it better than anybody else can. Your mind is like this too. My mind is like this too. Saying, no, you know, it's not being done in my time. And thus I'm going to roll over other people to do it. This, my beloved, is not wise. Now we begin to distinguish between feeling and emotions by quieting the mind and allowing the thoughts to rise in the mind and observing the thoughts that rise in the mind without judgment. And most of you have mastered this to the basic level. I'm sure that you're good at seeing and you're not acting too much out of balance. But we can all use improvement and we can all use additional practice. And for every one of us, the truth is that there are layers of awareness, layers and layers and layers and layers of awareness. So when emotion rises in the mind, a hard, fast emotion, and you say, neti, 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 neti. I'm not this thought. I'm not the thought thinking this thought. I'm not thought. I've mastered it. And then for some reason that you really don't understand or quite consciously think about, you move. You go right into the stream of life and you do that thing that you said you weren't going to do. You send that note you weren't going to send. You send the email you weren't going to send. You write the letter you weren't going to write. You pick up the phone and make the phone call you weren't going to do until you had settled down. And you find yourself embroiled and you don't know why. It is because below the conscious mind, we go down and we have the unconscious. And then we go down and we have the subconscious. Very, 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 very large state of consciousness. But we are moved by the subconscious, very much moved by the subconscious. This is what's directing most of our lives. And we are moved by the unconscious, you know, and very, very little by the conscious that we think we are moved by. How do we attune to that balanced feeling state here at the sun center, right there? Again, again, and again, and again. One more time. You must let go of the hurts of the past, of the hurtful memories of the past. Now, that may say, well, is there no such thing as happy emotions? Happy emotions? Mystically, an emotion is an emotion. Emotion is angular energy. And so the goal is to move oneself beyond the angular energy to the linear energy, to be quiet, to be still, to see how to act in the right way, right time, in the right place. And there must be silence, stillness, peace in order to do this. But why did I start with the story I did? What is that about? A soul who, through his efforts, moved two very large groups of people. A soul who one could look back and say, well, spiritually, that person really did a lot of good. Through his teaching of nonviolence, through his speaking of nonviolence. But here's the mysticism. It applies to you and to me and to you. Only that which we are relative comes into our life. Only that which we are relative to comes into our life. So how is it that a soul who has spent so much of his life calling for nonviolent living, calling for nonviolent action, would have been willing to harm his own vehicle? His own vehicle for enlightenment was harmed. He was willing to harm that through excess. Fasting is good. Fasting through till death for a political purpose, it's violent. It's violent against oneself. And then what do we see? The end of the life has a violent end to it. You see his devotion to Rama coming out at the end. But one must say, what was that? What was that? And I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I have meditated upon this circumstance and this soul for decades. All I know is that it mirrors back to me. And I hope today, perhaps to you, to say, what are the circumstances in my life in which I am saying one thing, but perhaps at another level, there's something else there, something else that is a part of that is not in balance, because we come into a point of balance and then we move to the Ida, to the Pingala, to the masculine, to the feminine, to the solar activity, to the lunar activity. We live upon the earth in a duality. And to move beyond the state where you are driven by emotions and you are enabling yourself to gain the noetic wisdom of feelings, it is necessary to quiet the mind, to eat better food. What does that mean? It means you can't very well sit down and watch violence in whatever form, or read violence while you're trying to be peaceful in your life. Two things, peacefulness and violence are pretty hard to mix. You have a long time friend, back to when I had a full head of dark hair, and he and my husband are friends, and they're always talking about movies. And so when I'm involved in listening, he'll turn to me before he begins, "This is just the greatest movie. You won't like it." But to my husband, "Oh, it's a really good movie. She won't like it. Watch it when she's not home." And it goes on and on like that, you know. He sorts through what I'm going to like and what I'm not going to like. And I always, you know, kind of teasingly say, well, you know, how can you watch it? It's really good stuff, but it's too violent for you. You won't like it. Now, I'm not making fun of him. Somebody that I really love very much and respect and learn from. Because what he's telling me is he knows enough to discern violence from nonviolence. He knows. It's not as if he is looking at something and saying, I don't know what you'll like or what you don't, you know, it's a good movie to me, and has no discernment. He has discernment, which means that he has experienced that beautiful quietude, the place of wisdom, the place of feeling, and he knows it. And he actually knows how to sort. Yeah, this will get you there, that won't get you there. And yet within him, as within you and within me, there is a part of his being that really is not drawn to the peacefulness, is not drawn to the feeling states. He would rather be fed by the emotions. And that is the key to this morning's meditation. For many of us, as all those people in that valley of thorn bushes, as all of them, you know, grabbing onto their own thorn bushes, as all of them were saying, yeah, I see, yes, 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 I see there's a path here. It's leading to light. I even have somebody willing to take me and show me the way. I'd rather stay here where I'm comfortable, grabbing on to the hurts of the past and allowing my life to be led by those hurts. And so as we go back into our meditation this morning, what have I said? It is a world of duality. Know that you are allured. Now, emotions allure us. Oh, they allure us. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Join us, join us, join us. It's so exciting here. You don't want to sit over in that peaceful corner. It's so much more exciting here. Exciting. Years ago, decades and decades and decades ago, Sri Shaliji, Satguru Shaliji, my Param Guru, Swami Kriyananda's guru, worked in an electrical shop. He was had skills as an electrician, and a TV repair shop is what it was. And so he was walking into the shop one day, and walking to the back of the room, there was another fellow working there, and he sees the other fella. The TV that he's repairing is plugged in, and he sees this young man take a screwdriver and stick it right in the back of the TV. And sparks began to fly, and it went little fire started. And the young man thought he was alone, looks up and he sees Shelley, and he says, it's exciting, isn't it? But it's so exciting, as they reach for the fire extinguisher to put the electrical fire out. That's you and me. Maybe it's not you, but I've certainly seen plenty of it in my life, where we get bored. Every time you reach that fork in the road, and you will reach many. You will reach many in your life, many forks in the road, in which you will say, no. Do I want to stick the screwdriver and start an electrical fire and have to use the fire extinguisher and call the fire department, and then I have to clean the house and blah, 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 blah. Do I want to do that? Or do I want to find peace and equanimity in my life? To discern through turning inward, turning upward, letting go of the fluctuations of the mind, and seeing and knowing that which is to be done. Your choice. Every moment, it's your choice. And now, let us go to meditate together. Namaste. And as we meditate, be aware that this week, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all come together and rest in the light of Neptune, the energy of inspiration and God consciousness. May you find a way to lift, to see clearly that which you need to see, that which you wish to see during this time. Sit with your spine erect. Turn your head to the left, exhaling twice. Bring the head back to the center. Reascend to the high place. Moving that golden light, ascending as high as you are able. Reaching the high place. Ascend further. Ascend up the path. This path leading halfway up the mountain. Leading to the sacred shrine. Reaching the clearing. You see your shrine in front of you, built perfectly for you. Light radiates around the shrine. Light radiates from the shrine. Enter in. Breathe in the color of light, the color that is perfect for you at this moment. Walk through the shrine to the back, and you see a pool of light. Enter into that pool of light. Feeling your old clothing dissolve away. Walk through the pool. Stand under the waterfall of light, feeling it pouring down upon your crown center. Feel it pouring into every cell of your being. The golden light pouring down upon you, loosening, washing away all of the difficult karmas. Freeing you from the emotions of this moment, from the difficult karmas of the past, filling your being with light. Walk forth from the light. Walk out through the cave, the shrine. Feeling rested and anew. Return to the high place of meditation with your Ishtadevata. O infinite Lord of stillness, bless us with thy presence. Fill our hearts, fill our minds. May our communications be clear. May they be compassionate. May wisdom, compassion, and nonviolence fill every cell of our being. Om Tat Sat Om. Aham Brahmasmi. Dhyanamulam Guru Murti, Pujamulam Guru Padam, Mantramulam Guru Bhakyam, Mokshamulam Guru Kripa, Mokshamulam Guru Kripa, Mokshamulam Guru Kripa. Om Guru Vyo Om Hold on to this sweetness. Be thou blessed, be thou blessed, be thou triply blessed. Feel the golden dewdrops of Ananda pouring down upon your crown center at this very moment. Tebe Sudevaya, Tebe Sudevaya, Tebe Sudevaya. Filling every cell of your being with the light of Ananda. Carry this with you as you walk forward and share it with all who enter your aura. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for the blessings of your presence, for your meditative energy. Namaste. Namaskar.